Welcome to the Rec Room Podcast. Y'all know the drill. I'm gonna load this music up. Oh, we got T Streets saying early. T Streets,
Yo.
what's good?
Chilling. What's going on?
Same old same. About to load this music up real quick. Where the theme song? That's all I need right now.
Hey, get that good theme music going.
Here we go. Got it. Yeah. What's good with you though, man? You had a busy week, easy week?
Painful week, very painful.
Really?
Back killing me, knee killing me.
Turn your mic. It's a little low, so you probably got to turn it up or talk closer into it. AG.
Hello. How is everybody?
What's good with you?
iPhone users, what's going on, everybody? No, but Podbeam is a little bit biased.
Yeah,
Also,
Podbeam.
like the iOS version.
It is, bro.
I don't know. It worked before with my old Android. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on now. And I'm using a iPad.
Bro, that joint just kicked me out, man.
Oh,
Right there.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Welcome to the Rec Room Podcast. Let me load the music. Something happened, man.
AG, you break it up.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, AG.
Uh-oh. No.
There you go. You back in.
Uh-oh.
Try this once again. Yeah, you clear now. But we missing Trey. That's who we missing.
He's got his ice drink coming up. He texted me, he said, hold on, everybody relax. He's getting his niche cologne that he got from Italy, imported from France. So it's coming. It's coming
together.
All right. He's getting his brand new haircut. Okay. His high top fade.
Something going on. The order don't change though, because it's most of the time it's me. Then it's T Streets, G, and Trey Philando coming last, man. How was your week though, AG? You there, AG? T Streets.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Even though your joint say mute, I can hear you, AG. Yours going in and out though, like crazy.
All right, cool. We got a lot of people in the room.
Now I can hear you.
Are you sure? All right, cool.
All right. Yeah, he starts
hey, Millie's ready to get tagged in. Millie's like, look, I'm here.
Hey, he starts like a robot on that joint. Oh look.
All right, let me get out.
You sound good now.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, cool. I'm not gonna move anything.
Trey, what it do? What it do, Trey?
Everybody relax.
I see he logged in. I don't hear him though.
Yeah.
There he is.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Podbeam was tripping out at first,
just now, dog.
Yeah, it kicked me out. Then I came back. I don't know, man.
It's got me sound like a robot.
Nah, we here, baby.
Oh, that was good. Well, I'm gonna stop the music and get to it. Welcome to the Rec Room Podcast. This is episode 24. I am your host. I go by E1. We have AG in the building. We have T Streets.
Yep.
We have AG, and we have Trey Philando.
That be
this
me.
episode is titled. What's the title of this one, Trey? We talking about can friends do business with each other?
Or nah,
right?
Yeah.
Now, before we get into that, I need to give a little story because I tested yesterday.
Uh-oh.
And I was tested and I felt like I passed the test of maturity. So I was getting off the train and and it was these teenagers. They were standing in the stairwell, and when I opened the door, so they were on one side. I didn't see them until I opened the door. When I opened the door, it was like 2 girls and maybe like 4 dudes. No, two guys and maybe like 3 girls. The age range was probably from 16, I don't know, 17, 18, maybe. And so when I opened the door, I see them. And so they all of them, each one of them got a joint or whatever they call it, smoking, right? So I'm going up the steps and I'm like, I said, y'all good. When I get to the top of the steps, one of the dudes was like, man, you pushed that door real hard, man. So in my mind, dog, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm thinking right then, right? So I'm honest. I'm gonna be honest. I really wanted to smush his head in the concrete jump. I'm gonna be honest with you, but
140 pounds soaking wet.
So I kept the smile and I was like, my bad, man. I said I didn't see y'all there. Really, I don't have to say that, but because y'all shouldn't be there smoking hot as I don't know what. So I say, my bad. So I hear him say, I'd be wrong if I. Now he's not talking to me, but he's saying I can't hear everything he's saying. Yeah. And then the girl is like, he said, it was your fault. You were standing there. He said, my bad. I keep it moving. It took me everything now to come back down there and ask him what he said. But I thought about it. I thought about it, bro, and I was like, I don't know if he could have a joint on him, anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying. While in my car, I'm thinking to myself, just focus on getting home, bro. But it was bothering me like shit, though. You know what I'm saying? So I'm driving. I'm driving home, bro, and it irritated me a little bit, but I let it go, man. I took the mature approach. You never know what could have happened, but I'm not gonna pretend that I really wanted to push his head up against that concrete wall.
So you would have deserved it.
So with that, think about how many people don't let it go.
Yep.
Exactly.
Right. Think about who doesn't let it go and goes back and wants that action. They might have had a bad day. They genuinely might have just made a mistake and accidentally pushed a door. First of all, you should be behind a door. First of all.
Exactly.
Secondly, right? So, but think about how many people don't have where they have the maturity, but it's just that one time, dog, where it's just wrong.
You catch the wrong person on the wrong day. And this is just a message to the youth who listening, man. You never know what a person going through. That's the approach I took. But it could have been somebody that's younger, somebody that had a bad day, could have just did anything. And anything could have happened, man. So you got to be careful. I get it when you're young. He was in front of some girls. He was smoking. He probably felt like big man and all that. You just never know, man. So for the youth, y'all, you got to watch yourselves, man, and try to maintain respectable behavior at all times.
And just to add to that, you know, rest in peace to Gilly's son, bro. You know what I mean? Unfortunate victim of gun violence. He wasn't super young, but he was still a young man. 25 years old, bro. That's like you know, he was one of 3 people, but he was the only person that actually passed. You know what I mean? Over the smallest thing. His father came up in the street, made it to where he is, and then his own son has to be a victim of the same things that he tried to get out of, right? And another story, luckily Bronny James, bro, he had a cardiac arrest like on the basketball court.
Yeah, that was crucial.
Bro, I have a younger cousin. He was 13. Ian had a cardiac arrest, but he passed. Yeah, he passed away. Yeah, bro. So it's this life is just so fragile. So I'm just piggybacking on what you said. It's little split seconds where a dude would be like, "Who are you talking to?"
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? And that whole thing can just change. So I just
to a whole nother thing. So
add on to that.
I just wanted to say I passed the test, man. But big fight this weekend. Big fight this weekend. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We got Earl versus Terrence Crawford. Now, is this for a belt, T Streets?
Yeah, this
undisputed.
This for undisputed.
Yeah. Undisputed.
I got Crawford
pound for pound. Who you got?
Who you got?
I got.
Me too.
Yeah, I got Spence.
Who you got, T?
Spence is great.
Who you got, T?
I
got
going
fights.
Styles make fights.
We'll see which style wins. I have no clue. I don't care who wins. I favor Bud.
See a good fight.
Yeah. Likewise.
Spence arms longer. Spence a bigger dude, bro. But I think Bud gonna gonna kill him in the phone booth.
I
think he gonna get him in the phone booth and kill him.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the game plan. I think he's gonna get him on his back leg, on his back feet. He's gonna have him, not because Spence applies pressure. Spence applies pressure, no doubt about it. But I think Crawford's about to do some things.
Hey, what you say? AJ got the AI. He said he got the AI.
Hey, Paul Big got the crazy shit.
Robot,
bro.
He sound like robot.
He got like the girl from Small Wonder, AJ. Nigga like so.
No, it only did it for a little bit.
But you good, bro.
So look, we gonna keep it with sports, right? And so NFL owners approve a $6 billion sale of the Commanders to the Harris Group, right? And it says, y'all still on?
Yeah, we good.
Okay. All right, coach. So it says NFL owners voting during a special session Thursday. Oh, this is by ESPN, by the way. Unanimously approved the team sale from the Snyder family to a group led by Josh Harris. The Harris Group is paying 6.5 or 605 billion, a record sum for a North American sports franchise. Snyder had owned the majority of the Commanders since 1999, and his family became the sole owners after he bought out his limited partners 2 years ago. So I guess it's kind of, I guess most people have partners when they do this. He said Harris said he felt humbled and ought to be the new owner. And I think it says Harris grew up in Washington, D.C. area. So that's good that it's a hometown person. Now, my first question is, how do y'all feel about, are y'all happy that, let me ask T Streets, because T Streets is a Redskin fan. T Streets, how do you feel about Daniel Snyder having to sell the team? And are you glad he sold it?
I think for the image of the program, I mean, for the team, for the organization, it was needed. It needed to happen. Do I care? I don't care who owns it. Just win.
True.
I don't care who owns it. Just win. But as far as some of the things that was going on, yeah, he was running a reckless business. A lot of misogyny.
Now tell me this. I thought because Magic Johnson was he had made a little speech saying that he's about winning or whatever, and I didn't realize until you put it in the chat that he only owned 4% of the team. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's part of that group. He's part of the Harris Group. He got 4% ownership. But I'm glad to have Magic on board because he's successful just about everywhere except for when he went back into organization with the Lakers. He wasn't that successful there, but with the Dodgers, he has a chip. With the women's basketball team, the Sparks, he has a chip. I think his soccer team has a chip too. I think
probably he got like 14.
Wait, he's with the he part owner of the Dodgers too, right?
Yep. Yep, for a minute, for a hot minute. Yep,
out here destroying, bro.
Yeah, has a piece of everything. He has a piece of everything.
That's Magic, bro.
Well, I think with that, my take on it is, I don't know what was going on with inside the organization, but it seems like a lot of people wanted Dan Snyder to sell the team. A lot of people feel like that's the reason that we haven't been successful.
And when you say so you're a Commanders fan too?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm hometown everything. I don't understand
the Wizards.
I don't understand how a person can grow up somewhere but then love another team or that be their team. But everybody different,
Is that a shot? Is that
like a shot?
No,
Dallas Cowboys. You calling them like Nas?
Are
they Nas of the area? Is that the Nas of the area?
I do some stuff I don't get,
I mean, I knew Dan Snyder was bad when white people wasn't liking him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you
knew
white,
that was it.
White people don't like you, dog. It's you're a billionaire. You pimping out the cheerleaders, which was a fact, right? He was using them. They took him to court, but then you just kept hearing so many other stories from inside the organization. We're like, yo, all these people are wrong. Like all of them. Like they worked under you. You know what I mean? Like they worked under you for years. So it's like
for real.
under,
for
like
real,
literally.
under
Anyway,
for real.
you know what I mean? But listen, he won. They won.
Yeah. I mean, he did his thing, had his team in there,
bro,
and got the money.
He got the payout.
That's real
and
talk.
he got the money. You see what I'm saying? So he like, yo, I just go buy something else. You know what I mean?
Now this next thing that we get ready to talk about, I'm a little reluctant. Nasir Jones had a album come out last Friday.
Congratulations.
And I don't know if the
more excitement, E. More excitement, E.
Hey,
and I don't know if the listeners know, but these guys goats is Nas, and so I don't think I don't know what to say. But he had an album come out, and I'm gonna let T give a little more on the album and what the name of it was.
Break it down.
The album Magic 2 in Your Phones Now came out last Friday.
True.
I took a listen to it the night of, or at midnight, 12:03, 12:07. I started playing it, and I must admit, my first listen, it was kind of mid first listen.
Whoa.
I listened to it 2 days later on Sunday, and I liked it even less.
Oh God!
So I was going to kill this project until I want to say Tuesday. I was on Twitter, and somebody was showing highlights, a high school kid showing highlights of his football reel, and he had a Nas song played in the background. So I'm listening. I'm like, hold on, he should have put this on the album. And then I look at the song. I'm like, it is on the album.
It is on the album.
So one of the songs I didn't like.
Yep.
So I had to listen to the album again.
No, it was a dope. I think it was when I first heard it, it was average. I listened to it. Well, I'm just saying. And then I listened to it in the gym, and it's a good album. I've listened to it twice all the way through. But this was mostly in the gym. It's a good album. I can't really say nothing negative about it. I don't think it's spectacular, but it is a solid album. It's definitely not bad or anything like that. It's solid, man. That's my take on it. That's what I can give. It's solid. He did good. And you know, the third time I listened to it, I'm listening more to the lyrics at this point and the beat, and I'm zoning in. And he did his thing. It's a good. I'm gonna say it's a good album.
I think that T made a good point the other day when he was talking about it. He said Nas's lyrics was there, but he was thinking that Hit Boy didn't give him the best beats, right? And so me being a Nasologist, with the Magics are like a new version of Lost Tapes to me.
Got it.
To me, right?
Because
even on Magic 1, he was just talking about this is just something before King's Disease 3.
Right.
So Nas and then in one of his first lyrics on the album, he talks about he's the one that takes all the risks because he knows people know his past career for some of his projects with the beats are lackluster, but that's the genius of Nas. Number one, he's a reluctant superstar.
True.
Number two, he's a lyricist. He lets the music just come. He puts his lyrics first. But I listened to the joint on shuffle, and I kind of liked it more because it was just a vibe. But to add to what you were saying, to me, I can listen to maybe like 2 joints when I'm in the gym. You know, I'm on much more hardcore stuff. Y'all know I'm Mr. MOP and all that hardcore stuff when I'm in the gym. But as far as me just driving and just zoning to the actual album, I think it's dope. I mean, it's a nice album. I would put it in like a newer version, like a Lost Tapes 2.0, right? But man, it was dope. But the only thing that messed up for me was 21 Savage's voice, bro. I mean, if I could like mute
21
him,
at the end.
if I could mute him, if I could like mute out his part, you know, I'd be good, bro. But nah.
AG, what's your take on it?
Can't do it, bro.
I think T did a good job because I think our anticipation is so high that we want to hear something that's amazing off break that just catches us immediately. Because I get that when I'm listening to certain projects from people like Tyler, or let's say Westside, or Griselda, you know, or Larry June, for instance, right? I listen to their project and already I like it. I don't have to listen to like it. I like it already from, you know, like just from the rip. You can have it in the background and just catches your attention. With Nas, you gotta like in certain projects, like Trey was talking about, they're not something that get your attention right away. You gotta listen to it. T said it, EU said it. It's not like the first, you don't love it the first time you listen to it. But what surprised me the most was the amount of risks that he was taking, because he's double time cadence, his flow. Like if you really look at his flow and compare it to like King's Disease 1 or just any other project, his flow is like he's really taking risks on an album. Like he's doing it now just to see what he can get away with. Like you see him experimenting with stuff. I have no doubt in my mind that if he wanted to and you told him, all right, we're going to put you with this producer, with this singer, make a top 10 record, he can do that. You know what I mean? But then I think that you kind of see him trying to play things out with like telling stories, playing with different cadences. His double time was impressive, especially to be 50 years old.
It was.
Like that's what caught me. And that's when I texted everybody at midnight. I'm like, yo, the flow itself. I'm sorry?
Motion is one of his best, greatest songs.
I see,
like ever.
I have to live with the album. Like in 3 months, if I'm listening to the album, I'll let you know how much I like it. Because I thought, to me, King's Disease 2 was the greatest album of the 3 projects. Okay. And I'm only to that point because I'm listening after a year. You know what I mean? But that's just me. That's how it is right now for me. But, you know what I mean? There's even people that will go as far back and listen to It Was Written and think It Was Written was better than Illmatic.
Hell no. But it was a beautiful
I'm not
album.
disagreeing. Like, I'm saying but it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's whatever hits you. You know what I mean? Whatever hits you at the time.
Now I got some crazy news. And a lot of
it wasn't me.
A lot of sites reported on this, but this is from NBC News, and it says new Florida standards teach students that some Black people benefited from slavery because it taught useful skills. Right? It says Florida's public schools will now teach students that some Black people benefited from slavery because it taught them useful skills. Part of the new African American history standards approved Wednesday that were blasted by a state teachers union as a step backward. The Florida State Board of Education's new standards includes controversial language about how slaves developed skills, which in some instances could be applied to their personal benefit, according to a 216-page document about the state's 2023 standards in social studies posted by the Florida Department of Education. And that's crazy. And I'm going to play what the vice president had to say about it.
Just yesterday in the state of Florida, they decided middle school students will be taught that enslaved people benefited from slavery.
Wow.
They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not stand for it.
I'm with her.
Definitely.
Yeah, like that's I don't even understand where the mindset to even I don't get it, but Florida seems like a wild state.
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
You should listen, when people tell you who they are, you should believe them.
For sure.
When these people are telling you that they don't care, when they look at people that are less than, this is a state where, look at all the violence that happens, the racist violence. Look at the fact that you had Puerto Rican people who are U.S. citizens be denied services or even restrained and also put towards border patrol because they considered them to be foreigners. That's the level of intelligence you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. And these are the people who are going to be responsible for educating the youth. And that's how they put down a people, by not telling them the story of who they are.
Exactly.
When you deny the people the truth of who they are, that makes them less than.
Yeah, it's all political. It's
right.
It's all fear based.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant to trigger you. But mm-hmm. this was so this is from 1923. This is from Carter G. Woodson. Mm-hmm. He says, when you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions.
True.
You do not have to tell him not to stand here or go yonder. He will find his proper place and he will stay in it. You do not need to send him to the back door. He will go without being told. In fact, if there is no back door, he will cut one for his special benefit. His education makes it necessary. So, first of all, Florida, I don't even, I reluctantly am going to Disney World next year, right? That's in Florida, or is that in California?
That's in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Disneyland is in LA.
Yeah, Cali.
Disneyland's in LA. Okay. Yeah. So, I listen. Florida is rednecks and Republicans who wanted to go back to 1950, 1940 and beyond. They do all this shit on purpose. All that stand your ground shit is just a justification to shoot people that's not white and get away with it. Mm-hmm. That's all the terrible laws. So you have black teachers that are quitting their jobs in droves. You have brand new teachers who are getting job offers, but that they're not taking it just because it's in Florida. And you have DeSantis who's trying to be triggering to get Trump's people who might not vote for Trump to vote for him. So he really doesn't give a shit. Then they had a 13-person committee. Out of 13 people, 5 of them were black. They said that they talked to all 13 people. 2 of them said nobody ever talked to us even about the vote.
Wow.
So it was a unanimous decision for the 2 people that they didn't even get a chance to actually vote on it, but yet they said that the committee voted on it, and this is what the standard is. Right? And so it's all a bunch of lies. It's a bunch of BS. It's triggering. They wanna stir it up because it's all about race. If they put that race component in there, that's how they divide you.
Yep.
But the people that are really benefiting, you don't pay attention to them because you're paying attention to the person that's a different color than you. And it's always Florida. Florida always sets a standard for something stupid, and ignorant.
I do applaud our VP, Ms. Harris, for speaking out, but this really can't be allowed.
Right.
A few years back in Texas, they tried to restrict the teaching of slavery in the classroom, or they wanted to get rid of it outright, but they were trying to put some restrictions on what was being taught in Texas. I think that was 2021, I believe. But the history of slavery, especially in this country, needs to be taught.
Right.
It becomes a standard. If it becomes a standard around the country, I foresee if this becomes a standard of the country where they want to claim that black people benefit from slavery 30 to 50 years from now, they're going to try to put us back into slavery. History repeats itself.
True.
If you whitewash it,
yep.
you can do it all over again.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, why do you think they're doing this though? Because what's interesting is the amount of progressives that are going to Florida. Florida has been increasing in size significantly. All the people that were living in cities, all the tech jobs, finance, New York and San Francisco, Florida has enjoyed a large influx of what they tend to be more, not conservative, but more liberal people, and with money and everything that tend to be a little bit more open-minded. So I'm kind of curious to see why they're getting away with this, especially this day and age. How are they getting away with all this? And why? Like, why even do this? Unless, like T said, there's a game plan here that, step 1 is this, step 2 is this. Because if you've been watching what's going on in the Supreme Court, they're rolling back certain rights that were already agreed upon.
Yeah.
And, for you to get to Z, you got to go through A, B, C, and D. And it's like, it's kind of scary because what you're letting the small things go, they start accumulating, and then they get away with big things.
And then if you try to take it to the Supreme Court, who appointed the most Supreme Court judges in the history of presidents?
Trump.
Yeah. So it's all a game where he made it his job from day one to appoint it because he knew what these people plan this shit out years ahead. So it started with the CRT, with the critical race theory. Now they're like, yo, yeah, we raped you. So what? Now you're a great carpenter. So forget about the rape. We helped you guys. We contracted you out. So they want to get your children, and they want to whitewash it, like T was saying, to your children. Oh, slavery wasn't that big of a deal. Then they got you.
And it's to the point where at this point you have to educate your own children.
You have to.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
You absolutely
Because
have to have a
if you're
huge
leaving it
library in
up
my
to the
house.
school or you're leaving it up to another source, it's just not going to happen, and it's going to be downplayed because when something is not prevalent in someone's face, it makes it seem like it wasn't that bad when it was really horrific.
Absolutely.
So it's just we just even more in the time of actually educating your children on their history, because what they trying to do is get rid of it.
It's called intellectual. It's called intellectual warfare. It's
for sure. Now we getting ready to get into tonight's actual title of the pod, and tonight's title, for those who may have just joined or joined not too long ago, is "Do Friends and Business Mix or Nah?" And I think that's a great question because a lot of people these days are of the entrepreneur mindset, and I think it's a great thing. But going into business with friends, I believe can be successful, but then there's times where it probably will not be. And so I'm gonna just pose the question, and anybody can grab the floor on the advantages and disadvantages, or what you all believe to be the advantages and what are some advantages and some disadvantages of going into business with a friend.
Go ahead.
I'll start it off.
Go ahead, T.
Well, I'd assume that you know the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to your friends. You should be able to trust your friends, and the whole thing is, since you know the good and the bad, you have to choose wisely of what friends you get into business with, because you can be a great person. We could be friends. You know, I could love hanging out with you, but I may not trust your money management. I may not trust your critical thinking. I may not trust just your the choices you make with certain things that's critical, and that I'll need a strong person to be able to make the right choices in business. And then if you even go forward, the communication wise, if you're going to go into business, period, especially with friends, you have to communicate all the time. You have to address issues once they arrive. You can't let them fester, because they probably start off small. You let them fester, it's going to turn into this big thing that's going to break everything up.
For
But
sure.
some of the pros, a pro is a positive work environment. Because you're around your friends, you get along, you hang out. It's a positive work environment to be in a business setting, working on building something together. I think that is a positive. That's a pro. But a con to that is that because of that work environment that you're in, the lines can get blurred. Friends know how to get underneath other friends' skin, and that's where in a work environment somebody could just do something, whether it's them humming, you hate them humming and you're around them all the time, that could be an issue. Or
Trey, we don't like your humming. We don't like your humming, Trey.
they have an issue with you but refuse to address it, and that person doesn't really understand that there is an issue, or maybe they don't think it's that big. And because you're not addressing it, that work environment could become very, very difficult, very feisty.
True.
Be a lot of tension in the air. And I'll name one more pro and con and pass it on. Comfortable, the communication. It's easy to talk to your friends. So working with your friends, it should make for an easier environment to communicate, to discuss issues, to make sure we're on the same page with business plans and just the overall goals of what we want to happen within the business, and who's our customer. If it's customer based, who's our customer? Who are we trying to market to? It should be easy to have those conversations with no filter, because we're friends, so nobody will take offense. But at the same time, a con in communication is that lack of communication barriers, where you speak to your friends as friends, and if it becomes something it can become something that's that disrupt the business, it can become disrespectful, and that could take on that can also destroy what you're trying to build. And I'll pass it along to whoever else want to go.
Hey, AJ, you want me to go, AJ?
Go ahead. Everybody relax. Trey's about
to go. So I've gone into business, with people that I know. I was super duper gung ho more maybe like 4 years ago. But I'm currently in business with someone that I know, and let me tell you, it really is a very fine line between being friends and being friends in business, because things can get gray. But when I tell you that I'm super lucky with my business partner's disposition, just how the person handles things, his tone, steadiness, where I'm able to be me and he's able to be him, but at the same time we can coexist. We never get rattled. Things New things happen every single day, but we learn. So, but I do think that it depends on the person. Number one, that's obvious. But I think more importantly, it depends on the business that you're in.
Yeah.
Because
True.
if you can own a 7-Eleven, but I'm fantastic at delegating. I can hire somebody to do that. But some people are more hands-on. You have to know that. You have to know, okay, how far are we trying to push this? Or how long are we trying to go? What's your 1, 3, 5 year plan on this thing? So just like T was talking about with the communication, but let me add this. This is the biggest thing. The way that you think it's gonna go, it's not gonna go that way. It's not. All kind of shit is gonna pop up. You're gonna have to fire people. You might have to replace that person until you hire somebody else. You're gonna have to understand how to hire the right person. You might go through some people, but the communication is super duper paramount. That person has to know that you are reliable, because we can have all the plans in the world. Oh, it's gonna be great, and sometimes a very small amount of the time that shit might work out. Most of the time, it doesn't. People get lawyers involved. Lawyers talking about how two best friends came in, had the business plan. 6 months later, they don't talk to each other. They don't even see the lawyer at the same time. So it really depends on the relationship. It depends on roles and titles. What am I responsible for exactly? If you go into it just off of emotion, oh, this is going to be great, and then one person starts to slack, the other person is passive aggressive. They might not want to tell him, and then if they start to slack off, the other person might say, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." So you have it, just like T was saying, communication, but more than communication, proper planning, and it depends on what business it is. Let me tell you something. Potting, we make it look a certain way because I think that we got 24 shows under our belt, but it took time to get to this type of rhythm, right? Where we might have thought on show 1 and show 2 it was gonna go a certain way. We got somebody that we thought was gonna be in. He's not in, but at the same time he's doing his thing. But we thought that, hey, it was gonna be this, so we had to make that pivot. So you have to be able to properly plan. You're not gonna know if you're in business with the right person immediately. You might think, oh no, this is my man. A year from now, y'all totally on the outs, right? So pros, you know them, you know the disposition. Cons, can you weather the storm of things that might come up unexpectedly? Money, responsibilities, quickly taking care of issues that arise. Those three. And legalities.
So I feel like that to go into business, with friends to be successful, I think the first thing that I learned is that you have to do it with like-minded people. That's the first thing. You have to have a certain level of maturity. That's another thing, and you have to communicate. And one thing of all is that everybody has to have some type of being a workaholic in them, because if you're friends and you're doing a business, you don't never want it to be where you feel like one person is doing more than the other. And everything is not going to be equal, but you always want to know, and that goes to defining roles and stuff. So there's no, you know what you're supposed to be doing. So it's it all coincides. So I'll give a story about when I was younger and I was doing the music thing. My man was paying for, and I remember what Dame Dash said. He said, whoever is the person putting up the money is the boss, right? And that stuck in my mind. Now this is fast forwarding, but back then, I didn't really think of it like that. And we had we rented a studio. Me and my man, we was renting a studio, but he was paying more of the studio because he was also doing real estate out of the studio. Okay, so he was paying mostly, but me and then our producer, we was putting in every month. And so doing this, we didn't have any business plan or anything like that, but he was like, hey, E, we should make an entertainment company. And I'm like, bet, let's make an entertainment company. That sounds good, right? But when he's explaining it to me, he's making it seem like we're all equal, and that's how it was going to be. Now, I don't know nothing about LLC. I don't know anything about that, but he had more knowledge than me about it. So I'm like, cool. So we're gonna do 50-50. He's like, yeah, 50-50. So some time passed, and he comes to my house, and he has the portfolio. He already went and did it. And I'm like, I thought we was going to do. He was like, nah, don't worry about it. You can get shares. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand all this. But what I do know is that you told me that it was going to be 50-50. And now you went and did it on your own. And then you're talking about giving me shares. Now, I don't know exactly how it goes, but that wasn't what we discussed. Right. And so what it seemed like is because now it seems like he's the manager and I'm the artist. Okay. And so he's basically explaining to me like I'm his artist. And I'm just like, no, that's not what we talked about. Right. You know what I mean? Like, no, dog, I'm not your artist. But when I look back, we were younger. That's one of my best friends to this day. Right. And I think he was looking at it like I'm putting up the money, so I'm the boss. Now, he didn't say that to me, but this is what I'm thinking his thought structure was back then. Now, because of that miscommunication, when it came out to us putting the song, now we're talking about when the money come from the song, whose account it's going to go into. We having a big argument, and the argument was over something that never happened. The song made no money. So now our friendship is in jeopardy over something that was about nothing. The song made no money, but we're arguing. We're young. We don't really know. Right. So that was a learning lesson for me into going into business and what not to do. And what to do. So overall, it was a great learning experience. That's my brother for life. We was young and we was trying to get to it. That was the bottom line. So with that being said, I think there's pros and cons. We didn't let those cons could have made our friendship, made us not be friends. Blank period, because I really felt the way about that. But even though we were younger, we still had some maturity about us. We moved forward and got through it. But communication is everything. You can't try to underhand anybody or do anything like that. Everything has to be upfront on the table for it to be successful. Now, the cons can be, the cons is that sometimes with your friends, you may talk to a stranger different than you would talk to a friend. So it may be a stranger that I'll say, hey, look, man, that's bullshit. But if it's my friend, I may tailor what I say because I don't want to come off a certain way. It just depends. So it's just like you have to learn how to communicate with each other and still be upfront about what you want. And sometimes with a friendship, you kind of sometimes, even though that's the closest person to you, you still may not be exactly yourself. And I think that could be a downfall of going in business with a friend. If you can't talk to them, I mean, you always want to be respectful, but you should be able to say anything that you would say to a stranger, to the friend.
Right. Especially when things arise. Like y'all talked about everything except for when he came to you with that new plan that he
Right.
had, and then you have to in real time conduct yourself like without spazzing out because that's your man. But if it was somebody that you didn't know, it'll be easier to go. So
Exactly.
that's the thing with friendships because new things are going to happen every single day. And then is your man going to lose his patience faster than you? Even like this might be a regular day for another business owner, but it's new to you. But since y'all friends, you have to, like you said, it has to be a like-minded thing. But go ahead, E. I wanted to add that in.
Nah, so that's all that was my pros and cons. AG didn't get to his yet.
Do your thing, AG.
So with pros and cons, right? Not all great friends can do great business.
Mm-hmm.
And not all great businesses are done without their friends because it's a catch-22. You can, you want to do business with people you trust. When you start a business, you want to deal with people that you understand, know, and trust. But you also have to kind of understand what you know about them under pressured situations, how they are in business. Mm-hmm. It's one thing that you know how they are personally, but you may not know how they conduct themselves in a work environment or a professional environment or providing a good service. So like if you know what, I know Trey will stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning to figure this out. I can definitely do business with him. Or I don't want to do business with Ale because I told him to do this last week for this thing, and it's 2 weeks now, and I'm having to do it. You know what I mean? So those are the things where you got to understand of what you can and can't do with people and what you can depend on. It has to be mutually beneficial. So I think when you go into a business, you have to know what everybody's strong points and areas of opportunities are, so you're not caught by surprise. If you truly know this person, I can't put this person to do this because they don't react well. So I'll step up and do that. But they have great marketing. So I'll let them handle that. So, hey, this is your strength. This is your area of opportunity.
There you go.
Yep. But I'm going to say it to your face. Hey, Trey, you do a great job doing this. I want you to handle that. I have complete trust. I'm going to check in on you just to see what's going on, just get a status check, but also want to be of service. I don't want you to be the only one handling it, but I want you to spearhead that. I want you to manage that. I also noticed that you tend to have a little bit of trouble dealing with customers directly. I actually can do that for you as well. Let me take that off your plate. You see how that works? That's because I understand what the strengths are in the areas of opportunity and how I can fill those needs. That's the advantage and then when you do it that way, you're going to tend not to run into issues. But when you bite your tongue, the con is not being honest and open and bringing it up because you're trying to be nice. And when you're trying to be nice, you're not being honest. So there is a way to be honest, but respectful and just saying, hey, we're discussing just business. It's not a personal attack. This is something that is factual. This is something that if you feel like it's not true, show me through facts, not through opinion. If there's ever that pushback, you know what I mean? But I think once you kind of have those uncomfortable conversations in the beginning and you structure things accordingly, it can be pretty fun and successful because then everybody knows what the expectation is.
And I think man.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But I think that there's a lot of, with friends, especially when you have a group of people that have a certain code of ethics, you think what's understood doesn't need to be explained. You think everybody should just know these things. You know what I mean? And then some people just kind of forget.
That's a big point. That's a big point. You assuming that somebody would know.
Right.
And the biggest thing was, I thought that we talked about this when you might have thought that you talked about it, but it wasn't understood as a group. Right. Or as because we're talking about one friend. What if it's what if it's 5 people? What if it's 3 people?
Right.
So it has to be structured in a way where, I know what this guy's weaknesses are, but I'm still going to do business with him because he's strong in these areas. So you take care of that. I'll do this. You handle that. Right.
True.
So yeah.
But how do you separate? Like, how do you separate the friendship from business? Like, how do you make it a separate thing? Do you think, like, let's take it as in, like, all right, so to me, the only way you can, so it's like when you're talking about business, it's if we all kicking it,
Yep.
And we let's just say we all hang out and we're eating, and then a business conversation comes up, but we're friends. Do you think it should be a separation? Should we, if we at the table breaking bread, we watching sports, and then somebody brings up something about the business, do you think that you should be like, hey man, let's talk about that at a later time? Or because we're friends, we're able to conduct business anywhere and just talk about business at any time, anywhere that we're out?
So
Should it be separated?
Are you talking about the business that they're in, or are you talking
Yes,
about
the
a
business
business
that they're
idea?
in. No, the business that you're in. We're kicking it. We at the bar. We came out to have a good time. We're eating. We're watching sports. But then we're in business together. But then we start talking about the business right then and there. Is that the wrong place? Is it the wrong time? But because we're friends, is it okay to talk about it? What's the
best ideas, the best conversations are done over lunch. A lot of times, I've been telling AG for 6 years I was going to take him out to lunch and interview him, right? Because it's the atmosphere, it's the mood. So I think that while you're there, everybody's relaxed. You trust this person, right? I'm only talking to you because I think that you will be good. I have a bunch of friends, but all of them I will not talk about this type of situation.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And by the way, me personally, as a caveat, I'm the wrong person to tell your hopes and dreams to, because I'm gonna fire your ass up. Right? So if meaning I'm going to push you into whatever you're talking about. If I can see how I can help you, I'm gonna hype the conversation. Like, yeah, hell yeah, we can do da. So you that's another thing, where if you are a procrastinator, if you are weak in certain areas and your friends know it, and they're gonna be like, yeah, okay. They might talk about it, but they don't trust you until they see that action, just like AG was talking about. But to answer your question, I think that being out at dinner is fine. I'm not thinking about anybody being, pissy drunk, whatever. You're having an adult conversation about a dope ass idea that we could work on. We could start the framework here. We could draw it down on a napkin. Hey, this is what the name is going to be. Boom. The next time that you meet, that's when it could be a little bit more structured.
Yep.
Right? Y'all could meet over coffee, Starbucks, whatever. That's where all the deals be made at damn Starbucks anyway. Over coffee. So we could go out, but it's about the inspiration and you trusting that person with that vision, right? And just having that vision written down. But that can happen anywhere, though. Yeah. So I do think that.
So for you, it's no
answer your question.
It's no separation. You can if we're in business together, wherever we at, don't matter. We can talk business.
It depends on the person. I will talk to you about business anywhere because I got the thought. I'm inspired. We can make this shit work. What are you doing tomorrow at 5 o'clock? Let's sit down tomorrow. But it has to start somewhere.
Yep.
Right? Me, I'm very impulsive. If it's right there, look, I got this thing. Boom, 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 boom. Right? If I catch your ear and we might be at a restaurant. If I catch your ear, we'll talk for like 30 minutes. Now, you might not feel comfortable there, right? Cool. Let's meet here. But it can start anywhere. It can start anywhere. And then it could blossom with the right group, with the right mindset, with the right work ethic, with the right planning.
You agree, T Streets?
Yeah, I agree. I've personally witnessed plenty business deals. Basically, the framework gets worked out in a social setting. When I was working as a subcontractor to the Department of Defense, the owner of the company that I worked for would throw these happy hours. And we became fairly close, and I would go to the happy hours, get drunk, everything. But after the first couple, and I started to all right, let me stay around the boss. Let me stay around the man in charge and the management leadership just to learn something. And I would be around them while they're at the bar smoking cigars, taking the shots of the XO Hennessy, the Macallan whiskey, they buying this expensive, taking these expensive shots, and they're discussing business deals right then and there.
Right there.
True.
And then maybe a day or two later, after they get the framework done, they go in, they have their meetings, and they close on it.
Yep.
They close it.
I've seen people that weren't a part of his company were guests by someone that worked there, not even in a leadership position. They'll come in and they can talk themselves into a job right then and there, just being in the social setting and the management liking you with no experience. I've seen people have no experience at all come in. They had to give for gab, and that's how they got jobs. And the same way with business deals, give the gab, da da da, this da da da. Well, we should do this, da 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 da. The next thing I know, they set the meeting up. Next thing I know, something goes into place. A new contract gets announced maybe a month later. So, yeah, I believe you can do it anywhere.
Same with you, AG?
I mean, that's how true business is done. The one thing I regret not learning was how to golf, because a lot of deals are done in the golf course. And for a very long time, I wasn't drinking. So like T said, it's absolutely 100% accurate. A lot of big networking / relationships that I built were all had in those type of settings where, people just get to be themselves. It's weird because more business, I've seen heavier business be discussed in a light environment than in an actual boardroom, which is weird. But the boardroom, you just finalize the formalities. The business was done because they like you.
They like you.
They like you. And it's like, I learned that very early in sales. People do business with people that they like. They're willing to forgive certain things if they like you and they feel like they trust you enough that you will get it right. It's when they don't like you that they start nitpicking you. And that's when they won't do business with you. That's why, unless you have a relationship, because it's all about relationships. There are plenty of times.
Absolutely.
Absolutely
is.
I have had the right contract. I put the bid together and I was absolutely the right product and service at the time. Like you had to be Stevie Wonder not to see that I was the right choice.
You was the right choice.
But someone else got it because they had a relationship.
For sure.
And that's what it is, man. And it's based on relationships.
Well, I was looking at this site called Nerd Wallet.
Yeah.
And it says so what we've been talking about is kind of what they say on here. So it says starting a business with a friend, important do's and don'ts. And it's under each one of these it's too much to read. So I'm just going to read what they have highlighted. So it says do communicate often. These are the things that you should do. So we already said that communication is one of the main things in life, period, with anything. But it says do communicate often. It says, now this is, then we say this one. It says do establish clear roles from the beginning, which is that is another important one. But what we didn't talk about and what they have on here is do get your business plan in writing. And it's paragraphs under that. And then it says what not to do. It says do not start a business with a friend just because you like each other.
Yeah.
You're cool. Let's do business.
But then the other one says
let's make monies.
Don't make assumptions about each other's goals for and commitments to your business. That's very important because you feel you thinking one way and the person not even on the same page as you, but you think they are, and because you all haven't communicated. It says don't mix personal and business matters, right? And then it says, but don't let your business take over your friendship. So those are the do's.
Tightrope.
Yeah.
Those are the do's and don'ts. I really agree with the don't make assumptions for the goals that you had. You know what I mean? Because I remember when we first, and I'm not trying to bring this back up, but when we first started the pod, I think we all were looking at it in a semi-different way, or some of us were, and we assumed that we all thought it was going to be one way, and it ended up not being that way. And it wasn't, the communication wasn't where it's supposed to be, and it could have messed up friendships. Luckily, we brothers and everybody's mature, didn't do that. But I can see how that can happen, you know what I mean, without the communication in the right way.
Yeah, and it forces you to grow, right? So even if somebody leaves, that's still a form of growth, right? This like I going in, I was like, okay, cool. Let's do our best. But as we went on, we saw, but things ended up well. Things ended up continuously healthy because my thought process going in was that whatever happens is going to end up positive, and it has. And but the more you go on a journey, any type of business is going to be brand new things, brand new hurdles that's going to come about, and it's going to test your business relationship, and it's going to test your personal relationship. It can't unless you're like a robot. It can't just affect you business wise without it carrying over to personal, right? Because that's your man, or that's your wife, or that's your girlfriend. But once you get into business, and somebody else might turn into an animal, like aggressive in a good way, can you handle that energy? Can you handle, like, damn, I thought that she was good at that, but she's actually not, right? And so you gotta take on that role too. So it's a lot of different things that come in business, but specifically the potting, this is unlike anything else because it's not like it's not like we both own a surfboard shop and we have employees. We only gotta talk. We only gotta talk once a week. You know what I mean? Maybe through text, whatever, phone call. When you're potting, you got on. You're the owner, and you got to be on. You got to know your research. You have to have that energy. You got to do the flyers. You got to market. You got to promote. You have to be engaging. You know what I mean? So you have to do everything, but it's fun when you got the right people, and it's dope. And we all look forward to doing it. Luckily, because we have a really good group, right? But still, for the next show, we have to be plan oriented. Once we hit the show 50, it'll be way different than we had at 24. So we're gonna have a whole bunch of more shit that we haven't even encountered yet.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean?
It's some highlights on. There've been a lot of successful companies.
Absolutely.
That where friends went into business, and AG, I know you know a few of them. I know Ben and Jerry.
I was gonna say,
Ben and Jerry were friends.
Still friends.
Who else?
Google.
Google's
big. Google's a big one. You got Google, Apple, Microsoft, Hewlett Packard. The list goes on and on. Airbnb is one.
Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Hey, sweet. Still wearing those trench coats.
So it can work, man. You know.
I got to eat a laugh. That's the first time
Still feeling salty about that Nas. So
yeah, you know. I ain't want to talk about it. You know. That's the only album review. Only album review we did. But no, it is. I mean, that is what I'm trying to say. That is very motivational. It can be done. It's very motivational to know that there are billion dollar companies that started out as friends. And I think that's dope.
And when I see family-owned businesses that's been around for years, like, I admire that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like friends and like family. Like, imagine that. Like you passing down businesses where it was brother, sister, family, and then just like you all just named humongous companies where that was just your man. Y'all was in the garage thinking about this shit that's $1 billion thing. And that's huge. Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
I would focus more on the pros than the cons. You could work the cons out.
Yep.
You can work that shit out.
All you need is maturity and a lot of communication.
Yeah, all you need is love. Love is the secret ingredient.
Okay.
Love.
All right.
Awesome.
I like that.
And that's how you end that.
you know, hey, T, I was gonna say, man, you had something crazy on the docs when it said, hold on, I'm about to tell you what it say. It said, Jaylen Brown from the Celtics gets a massive extension.
Yeah, man.
And when I read that,
I didn't put that. I didn't put
no,
that.
No. I put that. So first of all, you can't read it like that. First of all, you can't read it like that, bro.
Yo, that's
Hey, yo.
I thought that was T Speaks. I didn't know what was going on. He said my man got a massive extension. I'm like, man, I didn't know what was going on. My bad.
On that note,
hey, I'ma wait. Hey, you know what? I'ma wait.
Hello.
I'ma wait. Hey,
Go ahead,
look,
tell him
man,
in the room.
Hey, look, bro. We got my man Millie. In the room. You dig?
Millie.
Got my man Millie in the room. We got my man Dikembe Williams. I be wanting to say Dikembe Mutombo so bad. Dikembe Williams in the studio.
No, in my house.
We got Pretty Reds in the studio with us tonight. You dig? We got Donnie gonna be on with us next
What's up,
week.
Donnie?
Donnie gonna be on with us next week. You dig? We got some more people in here with us.
I like this. Listen, can I say this? We got one of the most original names, iDocFail, but the way that they spelled it was dope. F-A-L instead of F-A-I-L. So shout out to iDocFail.
iDocFail. We got Miss Joan Dorothy. Miss Joan Dorothy. Hello, how are you? We have Jasmine Blue.
Shout
Just
out.
like AG said, iDocFail. I see that
I'm telling you, right?
Okay. iDocFail. We got BNRRFZGZ. Yo, look, y'all better stop putting some names in here. I keep telling you every week. Y'all better stop doing that to me, man. Like I'm in preschool or something. All right, so listen. We had another fantastic show. Take it home. Take it home.
Ladybug. Shout out to Ladybug.
Shout out to Ladybug. We want to thank the listeners, the supporters, everybody who follows us on Instagram, which that is a plug. Please follow us on Instagram at the Rec Room Pod. The pods are available where any pod can get downloaded. Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Pods. You can catch the pod on any of those. Also, the pod is available on YouTube, and that's where I like to push our audience to. Please subscribe to our YouTube page. You can go to the Instagram page, and you'll also see the link in the bio for the YouTube page. Every episode, I always speak on us having the pods in person, and that should be happening in August. So you will be able to put a face with the voice pretty soon. We will be doing the pods in person. I can't wait for that to happen.